Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Danny, how are you? That was an excellent song right there. We need to get that online so I can get the entire version. That was perfect.
Okay, can you do a Meat Friday song for us? Are you allowed to contractually with CBS?
You know, I don't have one for you, but I've got one in the works that I'm saving, hopefully, to debut next year with you when football rolls around again.
Okay.
You've heard the song Hallelujah? Hallelujah,
Yeah.
hallelujah.
That was
We're gonna
Leonard
just put it
Cohen.
Exactly. We're going to get, for all those people who have been jobbed by the officials, oh, they screw ya. Oh, they screw ya. Yeah, we're going to have that all set to go with some of the famous screw jobs in the history of the striped shirt.
All right. Well, good. We look forward to that. Let me start with, where do you want to start? You want to start with coaching hires? You want to start with Trevor Lawrence?
Where would you like to begin? Trevor Lawrence is an excellent place because we go back to week 4 of the regular season. Dabo Swinney's got Kelly Bryant in tow. Kelly Bryant's been, for all intents and purposes, an outstanding quarterback. Took his team to the playoff the year before, but in that game against Alabama in the Sugar Bowl a year ago, he went 16 of 37 for 124 yards. And juxtapose that against the Deshaun Watson performances against that same Crimson Tide defense, and Deshaun had over 400 yards, I think, throwing in each of them. So I think Dabo looked around at the landscape of college football, what Dwayne Haskins was doing at Ohio State, what Tua was doing in Tuscaloosa, and said, I got to put this guy in. I can't wait. This guy has to be ready to go. And now we fast forward to what we just saw. And it was a 347-yard performance.
Yeah.
And it was a beatdown to go along with, obviously, a great defensive performance and a great defensive game plan by Brent Venables. But Trevor Lawrence is going to be the first pick in the draft. It's just which draft because he is a 6'6" monster that basically threw Clemson to the national championship.
If you had the number 1 pick this year, but you could only have Trevor Lawrence, you'd have to wait 2 more years. Would somebody take Trevor Lawrence now knowing they couldn't have him until 2 more years?
It depends on what you would think about Dwayne Haskins. But if Dwayne Haskins, you decided he wasn't what you wanted, then absolutely I would take Trevor Lawrence and wait because that guy has a beautiful throwing motion. He stands tall in the pocket. He's certainly athletic enough. That last drive, they didn't, I think, threw one pass and took 10 minutes off the clock, and he steamrolled people for first down. So I think the guy is the find of finds. And the person wondering what the heck happened to me is Justin Fields, who now is transferring to Ohio State to take over for Dwayne Haskins because he was ranked the number 1 quarterback in the land, and Lawrence was number 2.
Yeah, but at that position, there's not a can't-miss kid, though, Rick.
You're right. I mean, it has to be system, it has to be personality, and so forth. But for whatever reason, Trevor Lawrence blossomed right before our eyes. And I give all the credit in the world to Dabo Swinney for having the foresight to know he needed to do it, and for getting the guy coached up to the point where he became that fast a study and that kind of performer.
But we also want what we can't have, and you can't have Trevor Lawrence. So therefore, we've seen you can't get the car you want, so you really want it. You can't have the girl that you really want. Trevor Lawrence he's the object you can't have, therefore we want to have it even more.
The unicorn. Yeah. He's a unique guy, but this was the year of point guard offense in college football. Tunga Bailoa, if they make a few of those third downs, we're talking about Tunga Bailoa in the same breath. I mean, they just went down there and stalled in the red zone 3 or 4 times in the second half. So I think he's a remarkable player. I think there's Haskins had that kind of year. Ian Book provided that kind of spark for Notre Dame. They just don't have the same Justin Rosses and T. Higgins and Devontae Smiths and Henry Ruggs that these others do.
Talking to Rick Neuheisel, CBS Sports College Football Analyst, joining us, Continental Tire Coach's Corner. If the money was equal, and I said rank these job openings right now, the Bengals, Browns, Jets, Dolphins.
Oh, I would. I love Baker Mayfield, but I also love Sam Darnold. So I think I would go with the Jets. I think the Jets is the best one right there.
Why?
I think Cleveland would, just because it's New York. They're dying for a winner. I believe that there's some pieces in place defensively that give you some hope. Cleveland certainly has those same pieces. I just think sometimes the Cleveland organization gets in the way in terms of some of the moves that we look back now on and say, what were they thinking right there? But ultimately, if you asked me to rank, and you did, I'm going with the Jets as the number one.
Okay.
I love Darnold.
So Jets, Browns, and then Bengals and Dolphins.
And then I actually, I would go Bengals and Dolphins. I would. I think you've got it right there.
Did the Cardinals make the right choice in Kliff Kingsbury as head coach?
You know what? Give Kliff all the credit in the world because he has produced some epic signal callers. Now, he didn't coach Baker Mayfield to the finish line, but he had him. He had Mahomes, and he's also had Davis Webb. All three of those guys are in the league, and two of the three are making headlines. So people are looking around saying, who's the next Sean McVay? And here's Kliff Kingsbury, a handsome kid that, has done great things offensively. You talk to defensive coaches in the Big 12, they all say he's the real deal. I understand it. Now they just have to pair him with a defensive coordinator that he can hand the keys to that side of the ball off and then go to work. But Kingsbury and Josh Rosen, I think, is an interesting combination, and I'll look forward to watching it.
Yeah, but he didn't win at Texas Tech, and he had Patrick Mahomes.
Agreed.
So I didn't see the jump from you got fired at Texas Tech, you stopped by USC to visit the campus, and now you're the head coach at Arizona, when I could have made him the offensive coordinator, or I would have insisted that whoever I'm hiring as a head coach bring him in as the offensive coordinator. But head coach is big. That's a big jump, man. Big jump.
It is a big jump. I'm anxious to see how it works. And the team that really gets in a bind is SC, because now I think Clay Helton has to stay with that particular style of offense.
Yep.
It's hard for him to go get another name coordinator, because now it looks as if he only hired the name. If he was thinking that was the system he needed to be in to be successful, everybody can understand. But that means he has to hire that system again. And where is he going? Is it it's an interesting conundrum now for Clay, especially given all the recruits that signed up to be part of Air Raid, Southern California, and now he's got to find another Air Raid guy. Interesting dilemma.
I just don't know why Kingsbury signed with USC when, if your goal is to coach in the NFL as an assistant or as a head coach, like, why go to USC? Because if you do well, then Clay Helton keeps his job. So you're not even getting the head coaching job at USC.
Right. But, he's a guy that maybe wanted to just get back to the offensive side of the ball. Maybe ultimately, as we've seen, because he took the job in the NFL, that was the ultimate goal. And to prove that he had the chops to take a big-time program back to a mantle that they so desperately crave, as you and I know about USC. So I understand the lure of that particular job and that particular brand. It's got everybody's eyes wide open in the football coaching world that he took getting fired from Texas Tech to a job in the NFL. Usually it takes a 10 or 11 win season to get that kind of notice. But we're in a world of trickle up football, meaning think of all the high school coaches that now have big multi-million-dollar deals at the collegiate level, right? The Gus Malzahns, right? Who from Springdale, Arkansas, went to all the way up and now is making $49 million. And the same thing's happening because he took that little offense. Art Briles was a high school coach and took his offense to college. You saw all these moves, and now the college offenses are making their way to the NFL, and everybody's going, I need to get one of those, right? I need one of those fancy cars. And Kingsbury represents that.
What about Bruce Arians, who said he was done? And I know that you guys are lifers. Like if somebody called you, you're coaching right now. So,
I'm at the Arizona Hot Shots. I'm surprised you're not here on location doing the show. The Danettes could be on the punt team.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably room for us to play. Okay,
There is.
But Bruce Arians was done, Rick.
You'll get uniforms. Yeah, he must not have liked the broadcasting. He must not have liked it.
Well, you know what it is. You guys are control freaks, and then all of a sudden you sit around and you go, I don't have anything to do, right?
Yeah. Well, obviously he couldn't hit it down the middle. He's playing a heavy fade. It just got old for him playing from the rough, from the trees, from the traps. So he just said, let me get a whistle again. But I'm certain that there's going to be a bunch of old coaches going to be joining that troop again. Yeah. And good for Tampa Bay.
Good to visit with you. We'll wait for that song. And thanks for joining us as always, Coach.
How they'll screw ya. How they'll screw ya.
Thank you,
All
man.
right, my friend. Take care.
That's Rick Neuheisel, former college coach, now working for CBS and coaching the Arizona Hotshots. Continental Tire Coach's Corner, proud to be the exclusive tire of the Dan Patrick Show. No matter where you drive, how you drive, what you drive, Continental designs tires for what you do. For more information, visit continentaltire.com for what you do.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.